2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was a reading specialist, but I was very much in a point of my career. I think I'm entering in my 10th year of teaching, where I was getting very comfortable with what I was doing, and so it was a lot of, okay, let me give you instructions, okay, now you do it. Now let me give you instructions, now you do it. And a lot of just very independent reading, where I was concerned about, are the students getting this themselves? So there was not an opportunity for them to be social, to interact necessarily. Not a lot of movement, because I'm like, how do I get them to move around? They're supposed to be reading, you know? But now with CLR, I realize how important it is. Their understanding increases that much more when they hear from others. And they're more engaged and more willing to work on their reading when they have the opportunity to be heard, or you know, their opinions voiced, that sort of thing. So I think it's totally changed my perspective on how I approach my classroom. I don't rely on that. I just need to see what they can do. Let's see what they can do let's work through this together. And they're much more receptive to that, because it's a community of learners instead of individual learners. Recognizing, I think the tendency as teachers is to rely on how you were taught, or how you're comfortable learning, and recognizing that the level of engagement definitely goes up when I approach things in different ways with different students, and that I would get to hear from all students when I'm approaching something with a cultural mindset. So, and when I'm hearing from all students, I'm recognizing, wow, they do have opinions that I never get to hear, and how often are those voices squashed because we don't get to hear those, or we assume that they don't have an opinion, or that they don't necessarily care about whatever it is, where when you hold them accountable, when you do involuntary response, or when they get to shout out or do something, you get to hear from them all. And so my mindset is more, am I making sure I'm hearing from all voices, and am I making sure that I'm approaching their learning style and not just what makes me comfortable, or how I was taught, or what my culture reflects.
Give one, get one. Go ask them a question, get a response, rotate. I say ready to, you say move. Ready to? Move. Ready to? Move. Okay, go.
What the good readers read non-fiction, they try to comprehend what they're reading.
Yeah. How do I synthesize?
We pare down with information, delete some of the less important details, and come up with the bigger picture.
How do I show? Oh, no,
Okay, get one with one more person. Get one.
Which one did you do? You can just ask.
Alright, what is synthesizing?
When a good reader reads non-fiction, they read it for the gist, the most important information, the bigger the ideas. To do this, they have to synthesize.
You say seats, back to your seats. Back to your seats. To pull out your words that you looked up for thesaurus yesterday, where we use context clues. In a little bit is you're going to snowball your vocabulary sheet, okay? So when I give you permission, you're going to ball it up into a ball, okay? You don't have to make it into a messy ball, just to ball it up into a ball, okay? Crumple it up, there we go. There's another way of saying it. And you're gonna throw it up here, best you can, okay? Then, when I say like time to and you say move, you're going to go and grab somebody else's sheet, okay? So crumple it up, throw it, just a second, crumple it up, throw it, and go grab somebody else's sheet, right? Okay? The reason is I want you to see how someone else defined the vocabulary, okay? What someone else got for their synonyms and antonyms, so that you guys can internalize the vocabulary better, okay? So it's not just a matter of you putting it down because you looked up at a thesaurus, but you can see how other people looked at the context clues. Other people saw those words. Okay. Okay. When I say Ready, set, crumple. You're gonna crumple, and then I'll give you 3 seconds. Count down to 3, 2, 1, and you throw. Okay? Ready, set, crumple. Okay. 3, 2, 1. You want to aim for up here. Throw. Okay. When I say Busta and you say move, you're gonna go get one. Busta. Busta. Go grab one that's not yours. There's a couple that ended up on my desk. Right now is turn to your personal thesaurus in your folder. Turn to your yellow personal thesaurus in your folder. Okay, yellow personal thesaurus in your folder. Okay, and on your yellow personal thesaurus, you've recorded the words thus far. We're going to record the words that you're about to see in the article that we're going to start reading tomorrow, which is high school dropouts try to get back in the game, okay? So talking about how people overcome their circumstances, right? The barriers, and get through high school despite all of the stuff they have going on in their lives, okay? So your first word you're gonna write down, and then we'll talk about it in a second, I'll call on you, is disproportionality. Okay? Second word, intervene. Raise your hand, please, if you need more time writing those down. Raise a hand. Okay, Eric, we'll get you more time. That's fine, not trying to rush you. Raise a hand if you need more time now. Okay, let's do group 3, person 2. Group 3, person 2. Can you tell me what your paper you grabbed from the snowball says for a synonym for disproportionality?
Extremely.
Extremely. Now with context, do we think that extremely makes sense with context? Clues. They show how extremely students of color are represented among Minnesotans. What do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you think that makes sense, thumbs middle or thumbs down. Yeah, most of you don't think it makes sense. So let's go to someone else. Did they have a different one, Austin?
Over.
Over?
Yeah.
Okay, over doesn't quite make sense either. Okay, so let's do group 3, person 2.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Sorry. Group 3, person 3.
Uneven.
They show how uneven students or color are represented. That's closer, right? Okay, that's closer. Any others, Eric?
No.
No? Okay, I would say uneven is fine, okay? You can write down on your personal thesaurus uneven if you want, if you like that word. Otherwise, you could write down the two that get along those lines are, I would say, unbalanced or unequal. Unbalanced or unequal. Let's do group 1, person 4. What did your person write down for intervene for a synonym?
Divide.
Divide?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to context. Schools spend on counselors and other support staff who can divide in the lives of failing students. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down. Yeah, thumbs down. Yeah, it doesn't really necessarily make sense. So, schools spend on counselors and other support staff who can blank in the lives of failing students. Did they Hugh, you want to call on someone who you think might help you out?
Sammy.
Sammy? Sammy, what did your person have down?
Interfere.
Interfere! What do you guys think of that one? Good? Okay, I see lots of thumbs up. So, interfere would be good. I actually have that down for mine. Or you could do interrupt, where you're going to read the quote and you're going to think about, when you synthesize, you think about your perspective But then you have to combine your perspective with what you think is important about that. What is important about what this teenager is saying here? Okay? Tu comprende? Tu comprende? Okay, so then you're going to move on to the next one, and you're going to think about, what do I think about this? I want things that I didn't get in life, but then what is important here? What's important about that in regards to overcoming obstacles? So in a moment of silence, so eyes and bodies turn toward your work, you're going to write your responses. Remember, you guys, that I expect you to, you need to be creative and thoughtful and explain your answers, right? My goal is to build that confidence so you guys are ready to go for your junior and senior year, right? But you have to demonstrate that thoughtfulness when in your responses, okay? Okay, so you can start right now.
Opportunities of other kids their age. So what do you think? You know, like why is it important to think about what you want to get out of your life?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We're going to do musical shares, okay? So what's going to happen is you are going to get up, okay? And you're going to, when the music is playing, you're going to kind of mingle, okay? When the music stops, you need to pair up with someone. You can either sit down or you can stay standing, okay? When you pair up, I want you to each share your responses. Clear? Got it? Say, I say got it, you say yes, got it? Yes. Got it? Yes. Okay, so, music. Oh, yeah. Just
I see no changes, all I see is racist faces. Each place hate things, disgrace the racist. We enter, I'm under what it takes to make it.
Okay, find a partner. You can either stand or sit down.
Okay, so what I said is if you don't graduate, then your future is pretty much gone. Because like if you don't graduate, then you don't have to.
It's like when you go to the movie theater and then they give you a ticket so you can go into the movie. It's like graduation. It's
First quote, your response again. Go.
Let's see race the roots. Take evil off the beat, now we acting right. It's going black and white, it's what's back tonight. And the other time we chillin' before we kill each other. It's like you.
Okay, respond to the first quote with someone new. And you can make a group of 3 if someone doesn't have a partner.
Spending her college and graduation is going to bring her new horizons and to experience other things.
I put your knees before your wants. I said I put your knees.
Oh, we're doing the second one?
Yeah, doing the second one. Put your knees before your wants.
I would say the lesson, what worked really well and what went well is that trying to infuse the balance between VA and BAB, so validating and affirming and building and bridging, having them incorporating some movement and some discussion, some collaboration, but also they had times where they are in a moment of silence, and I'm really trying to teach them as they move to their junior and senior year how to be effective students and be successful in their future. I think one of the things that I struggle with the most is making sure that I explain to students why they're doing it and what we're doing it for, and being very clear about expectations. I sometimes have in my head what I want to see happen, and then communicating that with the students is sometimes a challenge, but I can see them internalizing more why we're doing something, for them to be the opportunity to have them be social is opportunity for them to be more engaged and to gain more out of it, and they respond and are much more engaged within the lesson. I feel guilty anymore if I'm making them sit, so for the whole class.